Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Okay, Mr. Roberts, we have you up first to speak, and I do want to say, I say this to everybody, whether it's on the agenda or not on the agenda, we're not allowed to respond, so we don't want you to come off rude in any way, so I always preface anybody speaking with that, so you don't think we're being rude.
Yeah, no problem. Where do you usually have the public stand?
Right there, you're perfect.
Right here? Okay. Good evening, everybody. My name's Paul Roberts. Thank you guys for being here tonight, volunteering, and congratulations to your newest member, I believe. And so, just wanted to talk about two things tonight, and one on your agenda. One is the posting of agendas. You guys post consistently with the statutory minimum of 3 days. I think it would be great and of huge benefit to the citizenry if you guys could post more than 3 days, like maybe a week prior. That's oftentimes done. I know like on the city, all the city boards and commissions, they're always posted a week out unless there's been some type of a mitigating circumstance that the packet couldn't be done on time, and so they wait until the 3-day minimum to get it done. But if you could do that, it would be great. You guys do your own research when you're doing your packets. You rely on staff for their input. The more citizen input you get, the more informed decisions you can make. Pursuant to that, the longer that the packet is out there, the more likely you are to garner more input. The other item is, I started picking up my daughter. My daughter's a freshman. So I've started picking her up from school about once a week, and my goodness, it takes about 25 minutes to get out of here. But before the meeting started, I just learned from somebody here in the audience that y'all just spoke about this, in fact. So I don't want to be redundant. I'm glad you're looking into it. I'm glad you're addressing it. For me, I want to state, though, it's not the inconvenience of 20 to 25 minutes to exit the parking lot, the efficiency of it. My biggest concern is for the teenage drivers. That's really my concern. So anything you can do to mitigate that, appreciate it. Whether it be bringing back a future agenda item, directing staff to come back to you with some ideas and proposals, a future line item in your budget to maybe have part-time staff, perhaps even organizing parents to volunteer and fill time slots, or any type of mitigation with the city through the traffic lights, etc. Or the SRO officer coming on board. You know, the problem is you've got 2 exits, so one officer can't be in 2 places. What if there's a problem? I don't think that's a solution. The other item, on your agenda item number 6, the archery. I've seen their presentations before. I think this is great for the district. For those of you who don't know what I'm referring to, stick around, watch the full agenda tonight, watch agenda item number 6, an archery range on school property. I think it's a great idea. And I think it's wonderful for the community, good for the citizens, good for the district, good for the high school. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Paul.
Madam President, I'm sorry, is the restriction of comment law or policy?
Well, technically, if it's on the agenda, you may comment. If it's an agenda item, you cannot comment as a matter of law on something that's not on the agenda. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so item number 3, we have Cindy Wheeler and Ms. Carolyn Bass, members of the Point Venture Lions Club. And like all of our civic organizations, the Point Venture Lions has always been a great supporter of the district. And so I certainly don't want to steal Ms. Wheeler and Ms. Bass's thunder, so I'll let Ms. Wheeler talk about what they have to present to us tonight.
We are presenting the teacher grants again this year, and we're very excited. We had a budget of $6,000, and then you could see we did $5,938.25, so we've spent it all. But it was for great things. It was good, and the teachers gave us good grants to choose from. So we're very excited. So
that's awesome.
Thank you.
Can we turn around and how we can get a
okay.
I'm going to take a few, just 1, 2, 3. Beautiful.
They're all Christmassy and not here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, y'all.
Thank you so much.
Very appreciative.
add to that, that the grants were across the district. It wasn't just one particular school. Multiple grants were issued throughout the, for all 4 campuses. So, again, thank you, Point Venture, for your continued support, and thank y'all for being here.
Thank you.
Okay, let me back up a little bit. So, we do have some students that we want to recognize tonight. Certainly very proud of all of our students and the accomplishments that they have garnered this year. And so we've got 3 groups, 2 extracurricular and 1 academic group that we're going to recognize. And the first group we want to recognize, the big group, will be our 2023 football team. They'll be coming in just a second. You can just line up all the way to the wall and shoulder to shoulder. I don't know how many here, but
not all of them are open.
So this is the 23 football team, or part of it, and some of our coaches, and we've got athletic director, head football coach, Craig Phillips. So Coach Phillips, I'll turn it over to you.
I took a few notes so I don't ramble. You're welcome. First off, coaching staff back there in the back, they're not all here tonight. Some of them are coaching other sports and doing other things. The success of this program is largely in part to the work that they do, not only the X's and O's of the sport, but they're good for kids and they do a great job, and I'm proud to work with them every day, and you guys should be very proud to have them working with your kids. I want to say thank you also to our training staff. They do a fantastic job of getting us back on the field and keeping these guys rolling and just out there every day for us. And our admin support, we really appreciate the feeling that we're treated as professionals and we know what we're doing, and we have the opportunity to do things as efficiently and effectively as we feel like we can. This group, a couple of notes about them. Davin Zervitz here and some of these other guys, our senior class, were either a part of or on the field for 15 playoff games in their 4 years of high school. That's a whole season and a half of football just in playoff games. Pretty awesome 5-year streak that they've kept going of making the playoffs this year. There were area finalists this year, with only 3 and 3 returning off of those big playoff runs we had the year before. So we had a lot of fresh faces this year, a lot of new positions that had to get into position and start taking on some roles. We actually had 9 sophomores on our regular roster and 1 freshman before we even got into the playoffs and started moving kids up. So a young team. I was really proud of what they accomplished and how much they grew and accepted all the roles that got pushed upon them this season and what they were able to do. We did get to release the all-district honors this week since Wimberley just got knocked out by last second play by Belleville. If you guys saw that, that was kind of rough for those guys. We did get 12 selections on first or second team all-district and 4 honorable mention picks. A couple of notables. Swade Griffin was actually picked on defense. He was first team defense and second team offense. Decker Sims, first team offense, second team defense, and the district kick returner of the year. And a couple other superlatives. Tripp Henderson was newcomer of the year, and Wyatt Herring, the big winner of offensive MVP for the district. All other MVP honors with the Wimberley kids. But really proud of these guys and how they're represented, and the all-district picks was a good meeting because of the respect that the other coaches and staff had for our group of kids and the nice things that they had to say. I appreciated that. And, it was a fun run. It's been a good run for these seniors. I hope that they had a great experience. I know it's been a great experience for us as coaches, being with them on these playoff runs the last couple of years and all that goes into that. And certainly we have a lot of excitement for the future with all the youth that we had this year that is returning. So we feel like that's a run we're gonna try to keep rolling as long as we can.
All right, guys, I just want to say great job this year. You really represented Lago well. Lost to a very good Fenton team. I think if we played them 10 times, we probably beat them 5, and they could maybe beat us a few times as well. But y'all really represented the district in a great way, and just another great year. And like Coach Phillips said, you seniors, y'all had a great run. Lots of playoff games, and a lot of kids can't say that. So again, congratulations and great job. Thank you. Good job.
flip around for a photo opportunity.
Any parent, y'all gonna have to.
Should we should probably double
in the back and the
for
front.
those of you at the,
Shift down.
if the first number of your height starts at 5, go ahead and slide to the front. Thanks, guys. To the middle now.
All right, guys, thank y'all. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank y'all.
Okay, next on the list is our cross-country team, girls cross-country, that is. Announce again. Okay, next we have the cross-country team, girls cross-country, that is. They really represented us well over the years, long-standing tradition. Looks like we just have a couple here tonight. They were not able to make it last month, so I certainly want to recognize these two young ladies, and of course there's a few other ones that could not make it tonight. So
I sent the pro run, so.
Yeah.
Coach Palomino, and so Coach, take it over.
So the ladies had a great season this year. Unfortunately, only 2 of them could make it tonight. One of them was trying to come from this area. She didn't realize how far it was, I guess. But they had a great season. We had 5 young ladies run this year. 2 juniors, 1 sophomore, and 2 freshmen. They qualified to regionals, placing second for the second year at district in the 4A. So they knew it was going to be a challenge, but they stepped to it, and they were very excited. They worked hard. We start our runs in June. We give them 2 weeks off as soon as school gets out, and they get going. And I'm like, hey, voluntary runs started, mid-June, and they show up. I don't know why. They're out there in the hot summer, 100-degree weather, and they're putting in mileage. It's honestly an honor to coach these ladies. Not everyone is willing to just go out there and run. I can't say, we don't have awesome statistics like all the other sports like soccer. I coach soccer, and I get to keep the statistics for them, but for them it's just mileage. You run 30, 40 miles a week, and that's really the only stat I can give you is they run a lot. But I really appreciate their hard work, and I appreciate you guys, everything you do for our student body. I feel like as student athletes, they get an opportunity to do so many things at this district, and it's really an honor to be here with them. Molly is one of our freshmen. She ran her best time in district. She was running amazing, but when it came down to district, we knew it was going to be tough. We had one of our runners get sick, and she couldn't run the last couple months with us. She did all the summer work, and then just health problems got to her. She wasn't able to run, and so we knew we were going to have to step it up. And Molly was running 14s. We're going to have to break that to be able to qualify to regionals. And out of nowhere at district, she dropped 30, 40 seconds from that time. And it was just amazing watching her.
Coach, explain how far they're running in 14 minutes.
So they're running 2 miles in 14 minutes.
That's my 1 minute mile.
And sure enough, I gave them a chance. Like, look, y'all gonna have to step it up, because we're gonna have to move another freshman up to varsity. And that other freshman actually was running 15:20s, I think, and at district she ran a 14:30. So she also dropped 30 seconds. Lila Smith was one of our sophomores. She dropped 30 seconds for district specifically. I'm not sure where it came from. Not here is Sophie Seawald. She actually came back from a torn ACL in March, and her first words were, "Hey, coach, the doctor said in a month." I'm like, "No way, you're back in a month from a torn ACL." But she's done everything to get healthy, and she was so eager to work and get back to running, and she actually dropped her time. She actually went from a torn ACL to being the fastest runner on the team with a 12:55 by the end of the season. So that was crazy to watch her come back from that type of injury. And of course we have Hannah Simmons. Hannah Simmons, I've had the opportunity to coach her for 3 years. It's been an honor coaching her. She's tried soccer, she played volleyball. She's in Spanish club, and this year she also ran a 13:30 at district. So it was we're just watching the progress throughout the season was just amazing. These ladies, oh, there she is. So Sophie is the runner that came back with my torn ACL, and those are her favorite running shoes.
She ran from DeSera.
So since we are 4A, we run to 2 miles in races, but I try to always challenge them by running a couple 5A and 6A races. They ran the 5A, 6A race here at the Lago Invitational, and they won it. They ran an extra mile, and they all zoomed through that course like it's nothing. And if you haven't been back there in those trails, it's nothing but hills. So there's not much flat land to run around here. But yeah, I can't thank you enough for giving me the opportunity to work with these ladies. I feel like I'm very lucky to work with such amazing students. So,
Okay.
thank you.
Well, girls, great job. Went and watched y'all run a few times, and you got your girls really represented Lago well. Wasn't a lot of you girls, but the few that we had, y'all really did well. I'm very proud of what y'all did for Lago Vista, and again, a long line of success in girls cross country. So I think Ms. Jackson will get a picture of you three.
And then Coach, get over there too.
I'll just break the camera.
Come on, Coach, you gotta get in there.
Come on in.
Come on. Perfect.
All right.
Good job.
Okay, next group, we have an academic group that is a very impressive group. I've got Dr. Lofton here to introduce those students. These are students who have been gained the National Merit Commended recognition, and so I'll let Dr. Lofton take over.
Sorry, I had to confer. Come on up there. Actually, I'm super excited to be standing up here because we haven't been able to give this recognition in a couple of years. I want to talk a little bit just about our PSAT program and what National Merit even means, because I'm not even sure they understand why they're standing up here. As you know, we give the PSAT in 8, 9, 10, and 11. The test is a little different in 11th grade. The full name of the PSAT is the PSAT NMSQT. So NMSQT stands for National Merit Scholarship Qualifying Test. And that basically, by selecting yes, I am a junior, and yes, I'm going to go to college, it enters you automatically into the competition. What's interesting is the way that National Merit is awarded is through a selection index. So essentially, they want to make sure that it's not too heavily rated in one state or another. So they assign a selection index to the students who take the exam. And then for the actual National Merit semifinalists and finalists, they do it by a cutoff score in each state. The reason I mention that is because, unfortunately for you guys, Texas has a pretty high cutoff score, but I did a little bit of digging, and I want to talk about these young men and their scores, because most of them, had we applied their scores to last year's cutoff, would have been actually National Merit semifinalists in other states except for Texas. So sorry about that. But so we have Austin Good, who had a selection index of 208 and would have last year been a National Merit semifinalist in 7 states, but not Texas, sorry.
Awesome.
So, we have Alexander Abear, who had a selection index of 215 and would have been a National Merit semifinalist in 27 different states last year. Awesome, right? And we have Lincoln Smith, whose selection index of 216 would have qualified him as a National Merit semifinalist in 34 states last year. So I want you guys to know that, so they take 1.5 million students who take the PSAT and MSQT as juniors, and they take the top 3% for National Merit Commended. And that's across the board, that's not state specific. So these young men are in the top 3% of all 1.5 million seniors, juniors, or class of 25, that took the tests in the United States. So, you know, I want to give them a huge round of applause.
Yeah.
We're super proud of Oh, wait.
Yep.
You get a very fancy certificate, and you want to say anything?
No, that's good. You did it. You're awesome.
You want to get in there with them, Susan?
Nope, I didn't do anything other than talk.
Michael, you can come around.
Michael, you can come around and speak, Jason.
You don't do no side shot.
You can come around.
I just say still,
Oh,
parents coming.
Jason. You guys.
Guys, let me just say it's top 3%, and that's pretty darn good. It's just bad that we're in such a great state of Texas, but, you know, top 3%, that's something to be very proud of. Continue the hard work, because that will get you a long ways in life. So again, congratulations on great work.
Great job, y'all.
Thank you. Okay, next, Holly, we've got the oath of office. We have Rich Raley and Greg Zaleski, who are, I guess, up for 3 more wonderful years. So, congratulations on that. But at this time, we will have Rich and Greg take the oath, and Holly will provide you with that information. So.
I'm not gonna. Okay, I'm gonna read the statement of officer and then you will swear or affirm to it. Do you solemnly swear that you have not directly or indirectly paid, offered, promised to pay, contributed, promised to contribute any money or thing of value, or promised any public office or employment for the giving or withholding of a vote at the election at which you were elected, or as a reward to secure your appointment or confirmation, whichever the case may be, so help you God?
I do.
Okay. I do. Now I'll read the oath of office. In the name and by the authority of the state of Texas, do you, Mr. Raley and Mr. Zaleski, solemnly swear that you will faithfully execute the duties of the office of trustee of the Lago Vista Independent School District of the state of Texas, and will, to the best of your ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States and of this state, so help you God? Congratulations.
Guys, look forward to working with you for another 3 years, so congratulations on that. So, All right. Yes. So, item number 5 is the 2022 bond construction update. We have Jennifer Black, Lead Engineering. Jennifer is at just about every meeting that we're at. So she is worked with Casey day in, day out, and like I say, she has been with us from the onset. So Jennifer, I'll let you take the stage and give us an update.
Thank you. That was a very nice introduction. I usually let Casey do all the public speaking, so I will try my best tonight. I believe in your packet you've already received our board update for you. So I'll skip the acronyms because you guys get those same ones every year. Basically, right now we have about 13 million total left to still spend. That's not just on one contractor, that's overall. So we're doing great. We're on budget. I'm sure Jason can attest to that one. So we basically tonight just have 2 portions of updates. One will be on the athletics projects, the previous stuff with Hellas, and the other will be on the sack and tennis. So with the work with Hellas, they're doing the bleacher update that we've all been waiting for right here in the middle on the home side. They are, I saw them myself, installing the bucket seats. They have said they will be done on, it says in your packet the 16th, will be done by the 15th. We'll have them out of the way for your activities on the 16th. They look really good though, so I can say that when I was there. In regards to the sack and tennis, if you've been out there, or maybe when you pulled up this evening, you can see a lot has changed in a very little amount of time. We have some of the exterior walls built up on the new sack. They will be installing the roof this month and start closing everything in. So that, what that means, dry in, if you hear that word, just means they're going to start closing in so they can start doing the interior work. You see them painting, they're painting the conduits that are for all the extra equipment so it matches the roof in there. Everything's going per plan on that and is also on time. In regards to tennis, you'll see the slabs are poured, there was some steel that was stretched, that all passed testing. You know, you have your third-party testing agency here, everything's looking good on that. The block walls between the older courts and the newer courts has been installed. Everything is on time with that as well. So, in there are some pictures, in case you didn't see, but I'm going to bet everybody did, because if you're like me, I drove through the minute I pulled in just to see what had changed still. Construction's going well, meetings are happening bi-weekly, but of course multiple phone calls every week, almost every day, just to make sure everything's happening as it should. A lot of moving parts. Upcoming items are, they'll be doing the surfacing, that means coloring on top of the concrete that's out there, adding the fencing to the tennis courts. Once they've dried in, they'll start doing that work inside the building, such as the turf and all of that. Parking lot pavement will be coming up January, February. And then the concrete sidewalks at the flat work we have going from the new SAC down to the old field house, and all of those sidewalks will be started. Pretty much, I think, the bond budget, you've seen it a million times. We're still on budget. We still have a balance remaining in our overall budget of over $360,000. And if you go to our schedule, you'll see, I love Casey puts the big stars, so you can see we're still on time and on track for that.
I have one question.
Yes.
Darren, you might be able to answer this one. Where the retaining wall, all that space that's flat, what are we going to do with that?
Okay, retaining, which,
You have the retaining wall at the south end zone?
okay, that's going to be handicap parking.
All right, okay.
With a new ticket.
That's right, that's where it's going. I was wondering, okay.
So just so everybody will know, we'll have a handicap parking down lower, and on top will be another parking lot. So now we'll have 2 ticket booths.
All right, I knew that, okay. I didn't know that that's where it was.
Yeah,
That's great.
I will add something on the seats. They're pretty much done. We will have a fence to block off the reserve seating. That way, people that pay for reserve seating will be able to sit in there. All general admission will be outside the fence, so we still got to work on the fence. All of the chairs will have numbers. The rows will have letters, and so come this summer, we will open that up for the general public to start buying season tickets.
Can I ask just a contrarian question on that? If you have a reserved seat with a number, is the fence necessary? It just seems a bit.
Yeah, because what I don't want is people, as the games start, people just that don't pay for those reserved seats come and just sit in them for general admission. So most people, a lot of the stadiums that I have seen have that kind of fenced off, so it protects people from just sitting everywhere. So you'll have to have a ticket to be able to enter into that area, and in that way it'll be reserved for anybody that buys that reserved seating. So.
For the
Okay.
people on duty, it would be wonderful.
No, I understand, we want to make it easy. I mean, maybe we visit it after, see what the interest is in reserve seating. Like if you sell 10%, I'm being dramatic on purpose, it's, I don't know, it just.
Well, I don't think we're
Because
going
like
out.
Marble Falls doesn't have a fence and they have a huge section, like,
Right.
I've been to lots of stadiums that don't have it, I'm not, it's your call, obviously, this is your show.
Well, I just feel like if somebody's gonna pay that extra charge, that, you know, if not, who would buy them? You know, if they could just walk in
And sit in
and
them.
sit.
No, you can't sit, I mean, if you
And
don't,
that's-
if you don't have a seat, you can't sit.
Well, for us, I think it's more of a policing where we don't have to go chase everybody down. Where's your ticket? Oh, okay, you're here. Well, where's your ticket? Well, you can't sit here. That way, they're going to enter in one area, check your ticket, and then they can sit there.
Okay. That's a fair point.
Any questions for Jim?
And we're gonna be done by the lights show, you said, right?
Yes, that has been my goal.
And it's up for North Lake to figure out who gets the reserve seating in
Yeah,
that. Except for the 7 seats that are reserved.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
But yeah, that's been the focal point, making sure that Hellas and their crew is finished. You know, I want them done by the 15th, and that's gonna happen. So now the fencing may not be up at that point, but all the seats will be available for the public to be able to sit in. So
How tall is the fence?
I'm trying to figure out if you can hurdle it.
No, I mean,
10-foot Constantine,
to be
aggressive people.
I don't know exactly.
It's similar to the handrails that you have out
Yeah,
there.
3 to 4.
They're
Yeah, be the
36
height of the
inches.
handrail. So
no, I was actually thinking about
the view.
the view.
Yeah,
That's all.
right.
Yeah, we discussed that one as well in our various meetings, was making sure we were constructing a view for anybody out there.
Both from the cheap seats in and the expensive
Exactly.
seats out, right?
It would mess it up for everybody if it was too high.
All right, any other questions or comments? All right.
Thank you so
Jim,
much.
thank you for being here.
Appreciate it.
I like you guys. Thank you. Have a wonderful holiday.
Thank you so
You
much.
too.
You too.
Possible approval for use of land for the archery club.
Okay, now we've talked about this the last couple of months. Dave and Brian are here. I want to thank them for working together with me on getting things moving forward. They presented their presentation last month. I think everybody was in agreement. I had the attorneys look through everything through this month. They have no issues with it. The only thing that they asked before we, I guess, move forward is to make sure that insurance is provided. And so what I'm asking tonight is that you approve to allow me to finalize the agreement, provided that the insurance policy is presented. Once I get the policy, I will send it to attorneys to make sure it's got all the coverage that's needed. And then at that point, we'll finalize the agreement and then get started sometime after the first of the year. So,
Need a motion?
Move to give Superintendent Webb authority to negotiate the archery facility in the back to his.
Kevin made the motion.
I'll second.
Gerald seconded. Any additional questions, comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I'm just going to do a little math in my head there real quick. 5-0. Thank y'all,
Okay.
we appreciate it.
Thank you guys
We're
so
excited,
much.
very excited.
I will be in touch with you guys tomorrow and we'll move forward.
Kevin's
I
got
do have
it.
one question since you're here. It was raised, I don't know where. Somebody asked me, is it just going to be limited to the high school students from a programmatic perspective? Because the parent that I was talking to was excited about potentially middle school students having access to the same from a program.
Our intention is to allow the middle school and the high school to participate in the same teams.
Yeah.
The way that the league that we're entering into is structured, we can take kids, we could actually take elementary school kids, but I don't want to try that. We don't want to get into that until we kind of smooth things out a little bit. We may allow younger kids at some point in time, but for now, middle school and high school is absolutely being involved.
Great.
Yeah, because it's club.
Yeah,
So
they're
it's,
excited.
Secondary.
Community's excited.
It's
Thanks,
awesome.
Very good.
We're excited.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank y'all.
teacher incentive allotment update.
Okay, so kind of discussed this last month. Got Dr. Lofton and Ms. Possock here to give you guys a little bit better overview of what's going on. You know, we're looking at this through compensation, advancement, or, you know, over the last several years, our teachers have talked about needing more compensation. You guys have been great on improving raises, you know, going out for the Vader. So we've done a lot of things, and this is just one more step that will help provide our teachers with possible more pay. It is limited in some ways. More and more schools are going to this. It's been out for a couple of years now. They've put a PowerPoint together, and they're going to illustrate kind of what the timeline looks like, what schools in Travis County are in the process or have already approved it. And so at this point, I'll let Dr. Lofton take over and
Is this something that we kind of got a little?
You got a
Yes.
little taste of it last
A
time.
little bit deeper.
This is a really involved process, so this will be informative yet brief, because I realize that I'm the only thing between you and the consent agenda, so.
So just,
That's
I
a
want to make
bad
sure I'm
place
not.
to be.
I know, exactly.
What?
Is this in the packet?
No, she just got it finished today.
Okay,
So,
I just want to make sure I did.
we can send it to you.
No, I just want to make sure I wasn't.
So I will go through just, again, some of the basics of the TIA. I mean, there's a guidebook that's several hundred pages long, and so it really is pretty involved. But we'll talk about the benefits for Lago Vista ISD participating, and then we'll talk about the timeline for the, you know, the multi-year timeline, and then the immediate year one timeline. So I do want to take this opportunity just to mention that we are extremely focused in trying to find ways to remain competitive in terms of compensation for our employees. They are very valued, and you know, I do want to highlight some of the outcomes of our most recent initiative, which was the passage of the Vader. Staff were informed and will be getting the first of the earnings next week. This week.
Friday.
Okay,
Thursday.
So we provided a $1,750 raise, which is 3% on the midpoint for all employees who are compensated on the teacher salary scale, $2 an hour raise for all non-exempt or hourly employees, 2.5% raise for all non-administrative professional staff, and then a $16 a day raise for all exempt administrative support staff members. These overall increases represent 5.5% for staff compensated on the teacher pay scale and an average of 10% for educational aides. I think what's pretty exciting to me is that this now moves our first year teacher salary to $50,000, an average starting hourly rate at $19 an hour. And so, you know, that this kind of leads into why are we talking about the teacher incentive allotment. So this was the result of House Bill 3 in 2019, which provided designated funding for additional teacher compensation. Districts receive an annual allotment for each eligible designated teacher they employ. I do want to make sure that it's clear that it doesn't go directly to the teacher. It's on the district to determine with that allotment what do we do with it. 90% of it has to go back into employee compensation. It can go 90% to that employee, or it could be 80% with 10% going to other personnel who might not be eligible.
I don't mean, this was covered in detail in our last meeting.
Yeah.
I think you were absent, like.
Yes. There's a lot more to it than this.
Okay, great. Sorry, I just.
These are not grant funds. This is funding provided through the Foundation School program. And then in order to participate, the district must engage in a multi-year, multi-step process. So the designations are master, exemplary, and recognized. For a master teacher in Lago Vista ISD, so these numbers have already been determined in terms of what is the average allotment amount for the district. That's super helpful for us because we're also able to look up neighboring districts and campuses to see what that allotment looks like. One of the benefits for Lago Vista ISD is we are considered rural, which means that our specific allotment amounts at these designations are higher than our neighbor to the east. So a master teacher in Lago Vista ISD would expect around 5,000. That amount is even different by campus. So it is approximately 10,000 for an exemplary teacher and about 18,500 for a recognized teacher. I do want to note that any teacher in the state of Texas who earns a national board certification automatically qualifies for a recognized designation in any district, whether they participate or not.
And that's backwards, right? Master's the expensive one and recognizes the lower one?
Master's is the lower one.
Master's the lower
It's
one
the
and
lower
recognizes the top one.
Yeah,
Okay.
exemplary and recognized is the
Got it.
top. So
Yeah, it's kind of.
I know, I wouldn't put exemplary up on this, but, okay. So the local designation system is designed by the district. So those designations of recognized, exemplary, and master are state designations, but how you earn that designation in a given district is up to the local district to determine. So those designations must align with performance and validity standards outlined by administrative code. And at a minimum, the local designation system must be based on teacher observations based on the T-test and student growth measures. And most districts, many districts go just with that, 50-50, right? I do want to note that it specifically notes T-tests as the evaluation system. There are provisions to have a third party or a locally designated system to meet the requirements, but it's pretty stringent and it's pretty difficult to get there. So, next. So the application and approval process is a 3-year process to become an actual designated teacher incentive allotment school district. So in the 3-year process, in year 3, so year 1 is application, year 2 is a data capture year, so that is student data capture and teacher evaluation capture year. The following fall, in the beginning of year 3, that data is submitted to Texas Tech University for data validation. They're looking for outliers. They're making sure that, basically that your appraisal system and your student outcome data match, essentially. And then once approved, you will still continue to submit data for monitoring and validation to Texas Tech.
This school year that we're in would be considered one.
Yes.
If we get everything.
The application, well, so we'll talk about that part really quickly, just the timeline. So, what districts are participating? And I think this is, these next 2 slides to me are the most telling about, we are very committed to remaining competitive. It's clear that this program is taking off in the state. So we are currently at 702 districts in the state that are either fully approved, have applied, or have indicated a letter of intent to the TEA that they will apply. Okay, but the next one is probably the most. So this is Region 13. As you can see, we have 49 school districts in Region 13. Of those 49, 35 are currently in some part of the process, either fully approved, applying. They've already submitted a letter of intent, or they're investigating, meaning that they've been participating in webinars with us to learn more about the process. It's worthy of noting that both of our immediate neighbors, Marble Falls and Leander ISD, have submitted letters of intent to participate in the Teacher Incentive Allotment Program. Marble Falls for cohort G, which is the cohort that we intend to seek. Leander ISD for H, which would be 1 year later. Okay. So the benefits for Lago Vista ISD, increased retention and compensation for our most effective teachers, remaining competitive in a tight labor market, again, with every neighboring district participating, You know, to not go through this process right now would really lead us to be playing catch up. Using state dollars to increase teacher salaries, it is an opportunity for us to strengthen and calibrate our evaluation system, and then again, to support teacher growth. So the application and approval timeline. So this is the big overview. So we are currently in pre-application and pre-application in year 1. The application, once submitted, again, year 2 is a full data capture year. You will receive, so if you apply in April, we'll be notified in August. There is a resubmission if your first try doesn't go through. You'll capture data for student outcomes and teacher evaluations in year 2. Year 3 is your full system approval. You'll receive your designations in the spring, and then allotment notifications in the spring, and then it would be in the fall of 26 where that compensation would be dispersed. So it's a pretty, like I said, pretty long and drawn out process. Holly, the next one. So for this current year, we are currently engaging with a consultant to help guide and shepherd this process because of how complex it is. We are going to submit a letter of intent in January. We are working on scheduling leadership engagement meetings with our principals and directors and district leaders to make sure we are all on the same page and all of our understandings are the same of what this looks like and can look like. We'll do stakeholder engagement in the early spring, which is teacher leaders to talk through basically to help guide the development of our system application. And then we will, it is our intent to apply for cohort G by April 13th. I didn't say on. Hopefully a couple days before April 13th. 2024, with our notification of whether or not we're able to move into year 2 occurring in August. That's all I have, and I'm happy to answer questions if you have them.
Just a couple of points. We're meeting with the staff this week to kind of let them know that you guys have been made aware of the direction we're going. Also, on one of the slides, it talked about, since you had 26 through 31, I think I told y'all last month that if a teacher receives one of the designations, they get that for 5 years. Mm-hmm. So that is huge. You take a teacher who's got 28 years and they get that designation at top 18.5, that can take them into retirement. And the 10% does not affect them. They can get it all. And so that would be huge for a teacher that's looking to retire. Going from 70,000, because you remember our year 30 is 70,000 to 88,000 over 5 years. That's a huge difference. So, any questions or thoughts or?
So basically, looking at the time frame, I saw that compensation that doesn't start till 2026, correct?
Correct.
So this is laying out the groundwork and.
Yeah. It is, but again, that designation follows the teacher. So if we were to hire somebody for the next school year and they had a designation, yeah, we would be on the hook for. We would receive that allotment. It does follow the teacher.
Okay, gotcha.
So part of this we need to figure out anyway because we don't have the TIA funding plan. In the event that we hire somebody, we would have to have in place what we were going to do with the funding and how it would be dispersed and whether it would be part of their TRS or not, all that.
Sounds like
Go ahead.
Sounds like conversations when we get to the point of where the opportunities exist and where, the teachers that are eligible, that those conversations will happen sometime mid next year, right?
Well, no, we have to submit that with our application.
Oh.
So by April, our plan and that's, most districts are recommended to start with a pretty narrow scope because it's very difficult to get that initial approval. And then each April, they have expansion applications. So if you, once approved, want to add a grade level or add a specific discipline or however, so I know, for example, Round Rock ISD is only starting with very specific elementary campuses, right? But in year 2, if they wanted to add middle schools or high schools or You know, so we'll definitely try to stack the deck so that our application is approved, because that data validation is whether or not you achieve full approval. So, you know, we want to make sure, and again, we have a consultant helping to shepherd the process, because it is, it's not a given. I know several districts that haven't made it through on their first application, so we want to do what we can to make sure we're first time.
I think the response prompted a question. So you mentioned, you said if it'd be part of TRS, is it not automatically part of their, so your your example of it going to help retirement is up to the district to make sure?
It is up to us, but I mean, you know, we would have, because we would have to take out TRS contributions. So like, if you don't, then it's not, basically. And so most districts, I mean, that's the most advantageous for the employee, is that it does count towards credible compensation for TRS, but that is not a given. It can count, but I'm not aware of any districts that don't do that, but it is not given,
okay, so
unless we design it that way.
And it also supersedes the 10% rule.
Correct.
Where a teacher can only get 10% credit on increase their salary. So 70,000 and they get an 18, that's an over a 20% pay increase. Well, in any other type of pay increase, TRS will only recognize 10% per year.
This does.
But this is,
okay.
Right. So
Great.
So that's pretty big.
And then, I don't expect an answer, we just want to continue to plant the seed. You know, we talked about last time that 10%
is the other
that we, you know, have the opportunity to do what we want with to fund the program. I understand there's an asterisk. Do we want with it? Sorry, let me rephrase, because the look maybe.
Well, there's another asterisk that I didn't add.
Yeah.
There's a $500 fee that is due to TEA for every designation you receive.
They're going to get their fee too.
So for us, for example, every recognized,
we pay
500 fee, 10% of 4,000, you know, 900. Like we're going to be footing a little bit of even that just to get to the fee.
But it's been made very clear to the board that this is a lot of work, a lot of hand-holding, a lot of administration work, and at least my perspective, and I don't know if anybody's here is the same, is we can absolutely, and I know it won't be enough the first year, but as this grows, we should be talking about funding a head count to relieve some of the burden on you and your team to make this as accessible as possible and not add more work for the same number of hours and the same number of pay for the administration staff.
I hope it's wildly successful and we have so much money we don't know what to do with it.
That's the goal. That's the goal.
Everything goes there.
So like I said, we'll start, matter of fact, we're visiting with first teacher group tomorrow, kind of giving an overview of what it's going to be like. And then like Susie said earlier, we'll come back after Christmas and start engaging the teachers in a little bit more in depth and what it's going to be like. And really, you know, here again, it's not about, I mean, we want to find ways to compensate our teachers because they're very deserving, and this is just one more way of us trying to do that. You know?
I think you raised it last month, Jenner. Though having not accountable, just a general ballpark plan around how you see all this playing out for the next 5 or 6 years to showcase and highlight to the teachers that aren't included in the initial cohort that we're working towards getting as many teachers included so there's no one excluded.
Yeah, we want to expand it to the size that we can, you know, and how do we get there? That's still, you know, we'll have to determine that as we go. But, you know, like I talked to 2 superintendents that are our size. They've already started. They've already had some teachers get it. And, you know, they said that, I asked them, you know, would y'all do it again if you had to do it? If you could do it over? And they said, without a doubt. You know, there's some speed bumps in the road. There's some, you know, some teachers don't like it because they think it's more work, which is really, there's not any more work for the teachers. You know, if they go in the classroom and teach and do what they're supposed to do and the kids can show growth, their evaluation is going to show that, and so they'll be eligible for that $4,000. So, but anyway, we want to kind of give you a little bit more information. Susie worked on the map of Region 13, wanted to show you kind of how everybody is starting to do that. And, you know, a district south of us, they got one of the better teachers from Dallas because they offered the TIA, and that teacher actually got the top recognition, and I think there's allotment was $28,000.
Wow.
So she'll get that for the next 5 years, I'll see. So it's pretty good.
Guaranteed for the next 2.
Yeah,
Right?
pending legislative approval, so. But that was, Kevin, that's one of the things I asked when the commissioner spoke at Region 13 several years ago. I asked him, will this be funded? And he said, well, I can assure you for the next 2 years it'll be funded.
That's their usual response.
Yeah.
By the time we actually get somebody in.
Don't say that.
That's what we've kind of talked about. Any other questions or thoughts or comments?
Thanks for the hard work.
Yes, thank you.
Appreciate it.
We'll certainly get it started.
All right, next one is consent agenda. If there's no questions or comments, I need a motion.
Move to approve. Second.
Gerald made the motion. Rich seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? 5-0.
Okay, we'll go on to superintendent's report. Got just a few things real quick. First thing is we have a resource officer. He will start on January 2nd. That officer is Officer Robert Quick. We had an interview back on November the 30th, and LVPD had 3 representatives. We had 4 representatives. We visited with them, had lots of questions, lots of scenarios. And we felt like that Robert Quick was the best candidate. He has also kind of taken it upon himself to go ahead and get the SRO training. So now he's that far ahead in the process. And so we are looking to bring him on January 2nd. We're also going to take him around on Friday, introduce him to the staff, which he already knows the staff. He's been on campuses a lot, just through his patrols and whatnot, but to officially introduce him. So I want to thank the city for their work and for their help in this. I think it's something that's needed, and certainly want to look forward to trying to build this program up. So we're excited about that. Thought the process was good, and look forward to getting him started after Christmas. A couple of other updates on the safety. The safety film should start this week. Got an email on Friday evening at some point asking when were we going to get started here, and he said it should be middle part of this week. So which really comes at a good time. They can work this week and then into Christmas, and we'll come back and we'll have all that taken care of. So I'll let you know when they get started. Also, the slats are finished at the elementary, and so we're excited to have that done. And so we had a safety meeting, Gerald, on Tuesday or Wednesday of this week. So had a good meeting. Talked a lot about a lot of good things. Very. I guess it was good. We've added a couple of teachers to the staff. They talked about how our Raptor system's working. Mr. Taylor was there. He spoke to that. Worked out most of the kinks. There's still little things that we're still working on, but we feel very confident that that system will be a great benefit if we ever need it. So if you've ever heard the alarm go off, I mean, it is certainly loud, and you can't miss it. I was at a conference back in October, and someone was speaking, and the alarm went off, and somebody that was sitting there, and everybody knew exactly what that sound was, and they knew it was a Raptor system going off for a drill. So credit our principals for doing a lot of drills and working out the kinks. Rusty and his staff have really been helpful in that as well. So any questions over the safety or SRO update?
No.
How long does it take to do all the windows, or to put on all the film? Like a
Rich,
week?
they've told me, but it's been so long since I talked to them, I'm gonna say it's probably gonna be a week to 10 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that might have been when we were gonna do like every window, but we kind of backed off a little bit on that. So, the toughest part is putting the seal on. The actual film is not that difficult, it's putting the seal around the edges is what is so time consuming, according to the installer. So, okay, building dedication. We talked about that before. We're looking at January, on a Monday, January 15th or the 23rd. I would like for, as board members, as many board members as we can to be there. I'm really trying to target the 23rd since the 15th is a holiday. And so we'll have it in the gym. I'm going to be setting up a couple of meetings that, with some people within the community that known Coach Hansen for a long time. Also knows a lot of people, former players. Meet with them on how we can advertise this. Then we'll have it, 6:30 on a Monday night. Plan on having someone maybe from each decade to speak about what Coach Hansen meant to them at that point. Have a couple of former administrators that worked with Debbie. And so we'll have the plaque up underneath a little sheet or something, and then we'll unveil that, and then we'll put it up. And so that's kind of where we're at right now.
I assume it's a home basketball game?
Well, we talked about that, Greg, on do we do it at a basketball game or do we do it on a standalone night? And so we're thinking about doing a standalone night because at a basketball game, I don't know if we have enough time between warm-ups because it may take 30 or 40 minutes to recognize Debbie and have former players speak about her. And so we're going to try to do it on a night that we don't have basketball. So we've kind of gone back and forth on that because my first thought was doing it, but 40 minutes between games with visiting teams like that, and so I think it might be better that we can really give her time and efforts on a non-game night. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. So. Okay, let's see. Next meeting. Sent something out to you guys maybe a week or two ago about January the 11th. That's moving it from that Monday to the Thursday of the same week. It will give our auditors a little bit more time to get the information. I know you would want it a few days ahead of time, so it will allow us to get you a draft version of the audit several days in advance. That way, if you do want to look through it before you vote on it, that will allow us to do that. So, is everybody good with moving it at that point?
I probably will not be here, unfortunately. We'll see.
Going to try to find a way to make it work.
Okay, all right.
I will too, because I'll work with Laura no matter what on that.
Understand.
We said we would figure it out.
Yeah.
Between the two of us.
All right.
So just to confirm, it's the 11th now?
Yes.
Great.
That's a Thursday.
It's good, because the University of Washington's going to be in the national championship that night. Just saying. Horns down.
Okay, that's all I've got on superintendent report.
All right.
It's hard to get safety.
It's 7:04. Take a quick break, closed session.